Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back for all the Titans that have been here before. We are going to be going over the Idaho 4 case today. As you guys are coming in, if you could, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. Summer says that I saw that she said she loves the music. I'm into the music too. I thought I was going to change it, but I'm into it. I'm like, I know it. I know that's my song. It's just one of the ones that they had preset on here, and now I just like it. If you want to become a member of the channel, I'll go ahead and copy and paste that in the link for you guys that are in the chat, the link in the chat. That way you guys have it. And before we get started, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I really appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time out of your day to hang out with me. So what should we do first? Let's see. Okay. I only get a day off. I keep thinking today's Tuesday because we didn't do our Monday live. So before we get started, I do want to show you, I'm going to show you the actual, let me switch these because I wanted to actually show you something first. So I did a video yesterday. And it was supposed to be a family member of Ethan Chapin's. I know I say his name wrong. It's my accent, I think. She was verified on Reddit, and it was a Daily Mail article that I saw, and I saw a couple of people do a video on it. So I was like, oh, I'll do a video on it too. But then again, I was thinking this morning before I even got onto the comment section today onto YouTube, I was in here getting ready for the live, and I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. Ethan's siblings, he's a twin or a triplet. Maisie is his sister and Hunter is his brother. And as far as I know, and as far as now that I've researched it, I cannot find another sibling of his. Even in the interview that Ethan Chapin's family, his mom and dad do together, one of the first interviews where they're sitting there, and Ethan's father's not really saying much. Ethan's mother looks over to Maisie and Hunter and asks them specifically if they want to say anything about Ethan. She didn't say Maisie, Hunter, and, another person. So when I read this article to you guys, just take this with a grain of salt, but I wanted to show this to you guys because I put the video out there and not even realizing I don't think that he has another sibling. So if you guys are aware of another sibling, then let me know. You heard he had a half sibling? Okay. Susie says she heard half sibling. Because I did hear in the chat one day, we were just chit-chatting about the case, and I saw in the chat somebody did say that he had a sibling. But then again, I don't remember. So I had to change the thumbnail and everything today because I was like, we have to switch it up because a lot of news came out last night as well. So I have so much to share with you. I'm going to share this Daily Mail article just to kind of show you what I was talking about when I did the pre-recorded video for you guys. And then we have I have the authorities in Pennsylvania talking. We have the women coming forward with love letters to Kohberger, of course. Those are new reports, not the ones we talked about previously. We also have Bryan Kohberger. Reportedly, he was fired as a teaching assistant. So we're going to go over that. He failed to meet expectations over there. And then he is also receiving threatening letters in the jail. So we're going to go over that. So lots of stuff to go over. So if you guys could, if you're just joining us, like, subscribe, share, we would love that. I would love that. So I'm going to go over this first. And just in case, maybe he does have a half sibling. Let me see if I can. And this is Daily Mail, but I thought I saw this on other articles of this too. And I know that I saw other people making comments on this and doing videos. I think that's trying to get it as big as I can for you guys. Okay. But it does say family of Idaho murder victim Ethan Chapin questions why surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen didn't call the cops after hearing crying and screaming and claims she called all of the girls in the house rather than 911. Ethan's sister-in-law This is right here. Ethan's sister-in-law posted on Reddit after the murders took place. She claims that Dylan Mortensen called her roommates rather than the police. Mortensen said she heard screaming and calling on the night of the murders. And if you guys don't use Reddit, like, because a lot of people don't use Reddit, Reddit is like a forum where you can kind of just go in and put your thoughts out there, and get like comments, and just like, it's kind of like a big chat room, like, with little chats, forums, and within it. I just started using it. So, I'm not really familiar with Reddit. So that's why I wasn't sure when you got verified. I thought the verification process was more than just like an email. But apparently to get verified on Reddit, I was looking it up. You only need like an email and then a second little verification, which I'm sure it's extremely easy to do. So, with that being said, I don't know if he has another sibling, but I just wanted to let you guys know. And the posts that she made are right through here. It says Ethan's sister-in-law verified right there. This is the Reddit post in the blue. And it says, yes, I hope it'll come out what Dee heard. Dee supposedly called all the girls in the house after the crying and screaming stopped and no one answered, and she still didn't call the police. She needs to explain herself and her actions that night. And then there's some more down here. 911 caller was the friend who went in because Dee called him over because she was scared from what she heard in the night. He went to X and E's room first and then called 911. Why D or B didn't call the police once is the question. And then it says X and E were in her room, meaning Zana and Ethan were in her room. So I just wanted to put that out there. I saw that Teresa about Gabby Petito. Oh my God. It's insane. It's disgusting. I mean, like, really, to see her injuries, to see anybody like that, and that kind of, she needed help, and she didn't really get it. Oh, let me turn my. And her family is another family that I think the Petitos and, the Gonzalez family, those two families are extremely strong. And they are going to do so much. Not saying the other families are not strong, but I'm just saying there's so much. They're just like, they're out there, they're in the media, they're talking, they want to talk about it. So I think that it's really, I really think that it's nice to have parents that can do that can stand up, and do that kind of stuff. So you're going to make a video on it, Teresa? I want to see it when you're done. Let me know. So this right here, I just want to show you, this is the authorities in Pennsylvania. They're looking into unsolved and cold cases to see if there's any connection to Bryan back home in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I think I did a video on this as well. So I did 2 videos last night that I put out. I have 2 more that I think I have 2 more that I did. One's Madalena Kojikari. I can't remember the other one for sure. And then I have a few that I'm going to do today. So be on the lookout for the pre-recorded videos as well. But yeah, so do you think that he could have committed crimes before now? Back home in Pennsylvania? I'm going to play this here for you. It is, hi, Crime McKay. I just looked over and saw it. Yeah, I think that you're right. I was reading Miss R003. Yeah, I think so too. I think those guys were in a tough situation. But I mean, because her injuries weren't, I don't think, as bad as the pictures we see now. She didn't look like that in the picture or the video we saw. I think that they didn't want to arrest her. I think that you're right. But I think that it's just so sad. I didn't do true crime whenever the Gabby Petito case was going on. I didn't do true crime on YouTube, but I did follow the case pretty well. It was extremely sad. I think everybody in the world followed that case. Good morning, Bill. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this here for you guys. Oh, oops. And this is going to be, just to let you guys know, this is going to be from the authorities in Pennsylvania. This is just one of their local, news anchors.
Good morning from Center Valley, Pennsylvania. Bryan Kohberger attended 2 colleges in this state, including this one, DeSales, before he moved to Washington State last summer. And we've learned that police and prosecutors in these college towns are digging through their cold case files with Bryan Kohberger in mind.
Your natural reaction is to start wondering, okay, is this guy wanted? Is his name out there? Did he do anything here in Northampton County?
District attorneys in 2 Pennsylvania counties tell us they've run Kohberger's name through a database with millions of police incident reports. They're also examining unsolved cases to see if any could be linked to Kohberger, who grew up in the communities near the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania.
It's a little close to home. You just don't expect it. You just don't expect that people that could do something like that could be part of, of where you live.
What are law officers finding as they dig into the past of the suspect in the murders of 4 students at the University of Idaho?
Obviously, you wonder.
We'll have their preliminary findings tonight at a special time. King 5 News at 9 p.m. I'm Chris Ingalls in Center Valley, Pennsylvania.
I'll have to see if I can find that news article from last night because they said they were going to come back on at 9. Isabel still thinks Kohberger has killed before. I think that he may have done I think he's done some crimes before. I don't know what he's exactly done. But I was listening to somebody last night and they were saying, like, even though this is considered a mass murder, he's more considered a serial killer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was on the track to become a serial killer. He would, if he wouldn't have got caught. Which, good thing he got caught when he did. So last night on News Nation, I didn't even know this was on there last night. I think I fell asleep actually, kind of early yesterday. So I was going to show you guys this too. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat if you guys want to join our membership. If you're just now joining us, if you could, hit the thumbs up button. It does really help the channel. It sends it out to the algorithm. More people can come in, they can enjoy the content, and they can chat. I do have it on subscriber only mode in the chat, but you could be a subscriber for any amount of time. It's just easier to combat with bots doing it that way. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody being here. Thanks to my mods. I really appreciate you guys being here today. So this next video, I'm going to show you. Wow, my watch is on so tight I couldn't even move it. Sorry. This is a new video that came out. It's an interview on News Nation with psychotherapist, Robbie Ludwig. And she is talking to Jesse, it looks like, from Law and Crime. I didn't know. When did he go to News Nation? Does anybody know about that? Like Jesse going to, like, doing News Nation? I've never seen him on News Nation. But that's him. Like, when I heard his voice, I was like, what? Hi, Avery. See, I'm thinking that too, Bill. I'm thinking more like an animal maybe he harmed before. And I hate to say that because I hope he did it. I always feel bad for I always feel really bad for, like, the animals and stuff. Like, they just can't even, talk. It's just sad all the way around. So this lady here, she is psychotherapist Robbie Ludwig. She's going to she's going to give us her intake on all of this and why women are attracted to Bryan Kohberger. It's a good question. There's 2 ladies that have come forward. The one girl, Brittany Hislop, she's been the main squeeze of Bryan Kohberger. Like, she's in love. I'll actually pull up a picture of her really quick if you guys don't know who she is. And now there's a new girl that's come out, but I can't find a picture of her. She was like an Asian girl. I'm trying to see if I can find her real quick. I still can't find her. Let me see if this will pull up a picture. Yeah, so there's, that's her. She's in love. She's totally madly in love. The funny thing is, if there's anything funny about anything, this isn't the first guy that she's liked inside of a jail cell. She was in love with a murderer. He's a convicted murderer. He was convicted for, I believe, stabbing a couple women to death. She was like all on him. She was sending his money to his commissary. She was going for a visitation. She was doing the whole 9 yards. She was playing the girlfriend card pretty well. Until she became so psycho, I guess, that he didn't even want to visit with her, nor did he want her commissary. He blocked her from seeing him. Now, for someone in prison to block you, when all he'd have to do is sit there for visitation for 30 minutes to an hour once a week or once every couple of weeks. And then she would give him commissary money. Like, if he couldn't even do that because she was that psychotic and weird and crazy, then she's definitely crazy. She's definitely nuts. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of an inmate blocking somebody from giving them commissary and stuff. Isn't that crazy? Like, usually men or women, both. Women will pretend like they love other women just to get them to give them some commissary. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll do some crazy stuff. You'll write anybody a love letter. She does not own a shirt, Summer. All the time those girls are out. That's why I was trying to find I was trying to find one with a shirt. Because the other ones were like, this one here was the one that came up before. Oh, actually, that one, she has clothes on there. Oh, no, but not this one. Like, look, she likes to show the girls. But this one up here, she has a shirt on. There she is with the shirt. She does own a shirt. I guess we were wrong. She does own one. But it's just insane to me. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I can't process that thought in my head. She's been writing him a letter, I guess, every day since he's been behind bars. So since December 30th, she's written him a letter every single day. That's like a lot of letters, guys. I have to do the math on that one, but we're February 8th right now. That's insane. Oh, by the way, Teresa, was your pool party fun yesterday? Whenever you said welcome in, everyone, sit back and relax, I just thought of you just sitting back and relaxing by the pool. That's what came to my mind. Good morning, Chloe's mom. Oh, look at... Is that Chloe? Is that your doggy? Is that Chloe, or is it another Chloe? Everyone always has a puppy picture, and I love it. And oh, by the way, don't let me forget, I will show you a picture of my other dog if I can get it to pull up. I went out and took one because right before the live, I felt so bad yesterday when I showed my one dog and I couldn't show both of them. I felt like such a bad mom. He may not be getting the mail. So no, he's not, Teresa. I don't believe he is, because the way that it sounds like they're rerouting all of his letters that, the inmate, the jail takes them, of course, they intercept them, and then they send them over to the, I don't know if it's the FBI or just the officers, the local, but I think it's the FBI that they send them over to. So they're all being looked at, which is insane to me. So maybe someone will come out with a book of these love letters and stuff after all of this is done and over with. And then, I just this is insane. Can you imagine being, I don't know. My head would be spinning right now if I was one of these parents of these kids and seeing somebody actually giving this guy this much attention like this. But, oh, Julia's here. Hello, good morning. We're filling up. I love it. If you guys are just now joining us, we are talking about the one and only Bryan Kohberger, of course, with the Idaho 4 murders that happened, on November 13th. We are talking about there's been a couple ladies come forward that are claiming that they are now madly in love with Mr. Bryan Kohberger, which I don't know why I called him Mr. With Bryan Kohberger. And one of them in particular has been sending him love letters every day since he's been arrested. So that's where we're kind of at in the live. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button as you guys are coming in, it does really help the channel grow. And if you guys don't mind subscribing to the channel, we're trying to get to 10,000 Titans right now. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this News Nation segment for you guys.
Doctor, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Great to be here.
Surprised, not surprised, that this is not the first time we've seen this, right? We've seen it with Ted Bundy. We've seen it with Charles Manson. What is the obsession with these kinds of defendants? I mean, is it the danger of it? Is it the fame of it? Why do people get attached?
Well, they are famous, infamous, and I think there's a confusion there. And there's something about a dangerous man that can be appealing to some women. And there's a seductiveness there with many of these men in prison, so they can be very charming. The advantage of pursuing somebody who is behind bars is you don't have to deal with them in real life. So they can't frustrate you. There are bars that separate you from them. So they won't leave socks on the ground, dirty dishes in the sink. They're more of a fantasy in reality.
Well, here's more of what she has to say about him. So she goes, if anyone ever says that I can't be sexually attracted to my love interest, Bryan, as well as genuinely care about his well-being at the same time, I know for a fact that they're wrong, since I feel both of those things for him. And although I'm sexually attracted to him, I also wish I had a significant mutual bond that isn't just based on sex. By the way, this is someone who's never met him. And the only reason she even...
Can someone tell me when Jesse came to News Nation? Because I've never seen him on News Nation. This is the first time I've seen him on here. Have you guys seen him on before? I figured I'd ask you guys because I asked in the beginning, but I don't know if anyone knew what I was talking about. But that's like Jesse from like Crime and Law Network or whatever it is. I like him. I'm glad he's over here. I don't know. Yeah, he got married. So women do find criminals, especially murderers, and men like that, or cult leaders or whatever. They find them attractive. They want to date them, be with them, whatever. I don't know. I don't get it. But I know Charles Manson was in prison and he got married right before he died. She was like, she had a few screws loose. And then, I mean, my mom was telling me back, when Ted Bundy was going to court, like, she's like, women found him attractive. She's like, they just did. Like, I remember my mother telling me that. This was years ago, years and years ago. So when they say like when they bring up that and they say Ted Bundy and women, finding him attractive, I know that's true because my mom was around during that time and she says the same thing. She said the same thing. So yeah, let me know if you guys remember when he came over here. Cause I don't know. This is like, he's so new over here.
Knows who he is because of the horrific crimes that he's accused of. So the reason I ask you that is because it seems to me, you mentioned fame. Mm-hmm. If she's also not just writing him, she's posting on Facebook, right? She doesn't have to do that. If she really loves him, she just send him the notes. Doesn't it seem she's trying to get something out of this?
Well, they've done studies and millennials, what they want most is fame. So she could be seeking fame for herself. But when I saw this, I also thought of a love addict. Right? And love addicts often have fantasy relationships with somebody who's not really available to them. They project all of their wishes onto this man, and it doesn't need to happen in reality.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television.
Oh, whoops, my mic was muted. I didn't even know that. Sorry. Anyways, so this one's going to be, the next one's going to be why do women, fall for accused killers. And I didn't even know that the Night Stalker got married. Who would want to marry him? He's scary. Like, to look at him is scary. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. This guy right here, though, he looks like I don't know. He just made me crack up when I saw him. And I was like, oh, yeah, we got to play this clip. So this one is, and I didn't realize I was muted earlier. So this one's just about, why do women fall for accused killers? And it has sex therapist Dr. Aaron. And it has another guy on here, but I couldn't see his name. I think they have someone else also on here. So trying to imagine a wedding in prison. Yeah, what happens is you go in, you say your vows, you kiss or whatever. You may have a piece of cake that the prison gives you or something, and then you're back in your cell. Like, no consummating the marriage, no going out to dinner, passing out in a hotel because you're so tired from, your friends and family and you dancing and stuff and having a good time. None of that. It's just, it's weird. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip here, and then we'll talk about it.
I can't understand anybody who would admire someone like this. So I am being told that the letters are going to Kohberger's attorney first, who's taking a look through them. And then they're going off to the authorities for follow-up. And by the way, those are the kinds of things that can get you in a whole heap of trouble if you threaten someone's life. So Dr. Aaron, could you dovetail off of what Larry just said about the kind of person? I mean, for instance, Brittany Hislop, what exactly would they possibly see in someone whose headlines are only awful?
Yeah, I think he made a really good point where I think, first of all, there's this allure of the bad boy, and maybe a lot of women are attracted to bad boys generally, who are kind of confident and they're rule breakers or whatever. That may be attractive to a lot of women. But in addition, this is a bad boy who's a captive audience. And this is an individual who is not going anywhere. This is an individual that's not going to leave them. This is a guy who's always going to be there and probably is so bored that he's always going to be receptive to their letters. So this is kind of a fantasy scenario of a kind of a true love with the ideal bad boy. And the fantasy is so strong that kind of maybe some of the details are a little bit less relevant because the main thing.
That's it. That's exactly where I was going with this. Is this a literally a willful blindness to the horrors that he visited upon these 4 innocent children, to the horror that they went through in the last moments of their life, to the horrors that have been left behind for their families, to the horrors for everyone else who feels now like we know these 4 kids and can't imagine that someone could do this? Are these people just that clueless, or are they just that unkind to humanity that they could just compartmentalize that stuff away, Doctor?
They're long way. I think it's a very self-centered focus because the fantasy predominates everything.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
I don't know about all that. Like, usually when I'm with someone or I'm dating somebody, I want to see them. I don't want to, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that you would be good with, dating somebody in prison? They're just hanging out in prison. You're not there. They're calling you nonstop because they have nothing better to do, but, call you because they're in prison. So you know where that's going to be. That's what your life's going to be like. The phone ringing saying you have a collect call from, and their name, and then from the whatever county or jail, prison, correctional institute. That's what you'll be hearing for the rest of your life. But you'll always have all those pictures of you by yourself to look at. And the pictures that you do get with your significant other, they're going to be in their jail uniform, and you're going to have that ugly A background behind you that they have in all of the jails. So that's something to look forward to, I guess. I mean, if you're thinking of it that way. I'm just trying to make it sound, good for stuff to look forward to. Yeah, like the Department of Corrections. Yeah, I was trying to think of like where they would be in jail, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, so it's so crazy. Hey, TF, you made it into 2 chats. I made it a little bit later on in the day, and you're here. That's why I did it too. So for the people in California and the Washington on the Pacific Coast could get in here too. So we're trying to, instead of 10:15 lives, we're doing it 11:15 this week. So you'll always be attached by handcuffs. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh gosh, man. Okay, so the next one that I wanted to show you is Ashley Banfield and Bryan Eaton are going to go over how Bryan Eaton is, the news anchor. They're going to go over how Bryan Kohberger was fired from his teaching job before the murders. He was fired for behavioral problems. I have a couple, I think, actually, news articles to show you about that. So he ended up losing his job as a teacher assistant. He was told, I guess, time and time again, he needed to get his behavior in check. And he didn't. They say he was rude. He would grade the women differently than the men, that he was very sexist towards women. So it's just a kind of a, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure where the, they're getting their references from or their people, but they do mention how they get them in here. So they'll tell you. She'll also go over a timeline on how he was fired. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I wanted to show you guys these. I'm reading the chat. I think you guys are making me laugh. Okay, if you guys are just now joining us, we are talking about the Idaho 4, Bryan Kohberger. We're talking about right now, he reportedly got fired as a teaching assistant. We're looking at the Banfield episode from last night on News Nation. And we just went over why women fall for, accused killers. So if you are watching this on replay, don't forget to hashtag replay. If you're just now joining us, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. We'd love to have you in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and play this video here for you guys. And then we'll talk about it.
Because in the Idaho murder case, I think it's important because in the Idaho murder case, there's been a lot of focus on the chief defendant in the case, Bryan Kohberger. And now we are learning a few things were happening in that man's life leading up to and right after the murders. Things like being investigated by his own school, Washington State University, where he was working as a teaching assistant. And apparently the investigation wasn't going well. He was warned time after time after time to cut back on the bad behavior. We're told behavioral problems specifically. But time after time after time, he didn't. He got more feisty and belligerent, even arguing with his professors, until they finally decided, you're fired. That's right. Bryan Kohberger was fired as a teaching assistant from Washington State University. I have the actual specifics of this, and I wanted to sort of go through what we have come to learn was the sort of timeline of his warnings and all of the things that were listed on a termination letter that Kohberger himself was given right before they cut the cord with him. So I'm going to just watch some of these so I don't get them wrong. But the highlights, or lowlights, I guess you might call them, was that he had a sexist attitude towards females that he interacted with at the school, that he was rude to the women, and then get this, as a teaching assistant, he apparently graded the women differently than he graded the men. Here is the alleged language that was included in his termination letter along with the timeline, starting on September 23rd. And by our math, that's about 1 month into his brand new job as a teaching assistant in his doctoral program, which may or may not have been tied to his teaching job. September 23rd, Kohberger apparently has an altercation with one of the professors named Dr. Snyder. Just 10 days later, on October 3rd, the letter outlines that they had met to, quote, discuss the norms of professional behavior. And then 18 days after that, on October the 21st, Dr. Snyder emails Bryan Kohberger to say that he has, quote, failed to meet the expectations that were outlined in the discussions they'd had before. 12 days after that, on November the 2nd, they met again to discuss what they called an improvement plan. And then on December the 7th, that's about, well, let's cut to actually 12 days later, 11 days later, the murders actually happened. So they have the meeting to discuss the improvement plan. And 11 days later, on November 13th, the murders are carried out. Then cut forward to 24 days beyond, and that.
So on November 2nd, it says here that they had a meeting to discuss improvement plan. I'm wondering if at that moment he knew, shit, I'm losing my job. Because I feel like even before he lost his job, like officially was terminated, I feel like he would have had some sense. He would have had some knowledge in knowing that he was going to, in fact, be terminated. I feel like I've never been fired from a job before, but I've seen I've seen it. And I think that the people kind of know it's going to happen before it actually happens. And it's usually because of they know that their behavior is off, or they know that they're coming in late all the time. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they don't want to improve it. So just think on November 2nd, he had a meeting to discuss the improvement plan. I feel like at that day, November 2nd, he probably would have known that he was losing, if he was losing his job or not. So I just wanted to point that out there. Also, I think that with them saying how sexist and stuff he was and biased and stuff, maybe when he saw Ethan, that's why he was able to get extra, because Ethan's such a bigger guy. I feel like he would have put up a really big fight, but maybe that's what gave him that extra strength and that extra push to be to be even more mad. I don't know.
That's December 7th. That's when there was another meeting with the professors. And this was supposed to be about the progress of the, quote, improvement plan. Apparently it didn't go too well because 2 days later, on December 9th, he had another altercation with Dr. Snyder. And here's the quote, in which it became apparent that you had not made progress regarding professionalism. 10 days after that, December 19th, Bryan Kohberger is officially terminated by Washington State University. And some are reporting that he was withdrawn from the data system 3 days later on December the 22nd. Thank you.
So do you think if he was terminated, let's see, was it December 19th? Yeah. December 19th, he was officially terminated. Do you think when was he going cross country with his dad? Wasn't it December 15th? I can't remember now. And it's not in, is it in the second PCA? I can't remember. I'll look it up. If not. But I wonder when he was going cross country with his dad, because maybe he was going to go home. Or because he was fired from his job. I mean, I don't know. It's just so crazy. Do you know when they were cross countrying it up? I could probably look it up. Let's see. December 17th. That's when they arrived. The father and son arrived around December 17th. They would have had to left a couple days before. So it was before he was even terminated. I don't know why my thing just did that. Okay, so Yeah, I just wanted to see that really quick. Oops. I about left the studio again on you guys. I do that almost every live. I feel like every live I try to leave y'all. Like halfway through, I'm like, peace, and then I have to come back in. I'm going to look at the chat for a minute. He was pulled over in Indiana, Christina said, on 12/15. Okay, so yeah. I mean, I think, well, the second altercation, he knew he was getting fired December 9th. But I'm wondering if that's why he went home. Just going to go through the chat for a minute. There is witness protection, but you don't want to have to do that to those poor girls. They don't, you know what I mean? Like they don't want to have to change their whole everything. It's not their fault that this happened. I mean, I know it's usually not people's fault when they go into witness protection, but sometimes it is. It's like because they ratted out on somebody and that's why they put them in witness protection or something along those lines. But I don't know. I just feel bad that they're only 20 years old. They went through a lot. I don't even know what they went through. We are actually going to do a live on that probably tomorrow because I have some other stuff to show you guys. And I have like a ton of questions and I'm like, I swear, like this case, every time I go to like not talk about it, something else comes out that we need to talk about. So I'll go on to the next video here. This one is going to be where Bryan Eaton kind of, I think, talks with News Nation. And this is still about, Kohberger losing his teaching job after, or before his arrest, before he was arrested. If you guys are just now joining us, if you don't mind, smashing the like button, hitting the subscribe button if you want to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon and click all notifications because I do post sometimes more than once a day. That way you guys will get all the content and you'll get notified. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, we're going to go ahead and look at this video here.
I can tell you that we have 3 different sources where we have put that information together. We reached out to Washington State University. They won't comment on it. It is incredibly quiet and tight-lipped at Washington State University, not just on the administrative side, but also among the students. And that's why I want to bring in our Bryan Enton, who's our senior national correspondent at News Nation. All of this is quite surprising. Here we are months after the murders, Bryan, and this information is coming out, and it is very, very hard to get official acknowledgement of this from Washington State University.
It is, Ashley, and this is very interesting what you have uncovered because I'm thinking back to when I was in the building there where you just saw the video where Bryan Kohberger was teaching, was also a student, a PhD student, criminal justice there at Washington State University. And the first thing I noticed when I was wandering around all of the hallways on multiple floors is on the bulletin boards, they had all of the teacher assistants, the TAs, and the professors listed in many different places, and his name didn't appear anywhere. I initially thought, okay, they went through after the arrest and they got his name off of everything in this building. But now I'm wondering, with this new information you're reporting, did they take his name down much earlier because he was in fact fired?
Well, it's pretty fascinating because if you think about the dates, December 22nd, if he's withdrawn from the data system in that university, he still hasn't been arrested until December 30th, that Friday night. And we are also told that it was official. His official termination actually happened at the very end of that month. He was told, you're finished. You're not going to be a TA in the spring session. I'm not sure about the winter session, but the word has it that it was the 30th, that it was completely over, and that just, that ends up being the same day that he was arrested. What I'm curious about is why the students are so quiet about this. I understand the staff. They work for WSU. They have to toe the line if WSU doesn't want them speaking, but students don't work for the school. They can talk if they want to, and yet they haven't.
They've talked a little bit, Ashley. They don't want to go on camera when we've been on campus in the past, but they have spoken a little from what we've gathered. He was a TA of both Criminal Justice 101 and criminal law. We heard from several students along the way that he gave off weird vibes, that they got a creepy feeling from him. We also heard something that matched up with your new reporting tonight, that he was a hard grader. That at one point, actually, there was such an issue with the way that he was grading papers that a higher level professor had to come in and get involved at one point.
So basically, when he was grading papers, he was grading the women differently than the men. He was being harder on the women students, students that were girls than the guys that were in his classes. And he got called out for that. Bryan Eaton's your neighbor? I didn't know that. Well, I need an autograph. I'm coming down there. I love Bryan Eaton. I think we have do we have a Bryan Eaton emoji? I think we do. I'm not on that screen today, actually, for some reason. But if there is one, you guys should put it in the chat. I think there might be a Bryan Eaton one. There's an Ashley Banfield emoji. If you're a member, you can see them. And I do love that he's been covering this case. He's been doing a great job at covering this case.
Bryan, I remember when that original reporting broke, but I never remember anyone delineating between the grading being tougher on the women than on the men, just that he was very hard on the students. But not only are we hearing that he was grading women differently, but also that he was rude to women and that he, quote, had a sexist attitude towards women among his multiple behavioral problems.
Yeah, that is new. I haven't heard it to that extent. We did hear a little bit about possibly some sexism. We also heard, if you don't remember, Ashley, about there was an issue. He maybe had an issue with like a pride flag on a door in one of the school buildings there. But in terms of it going to the level with your new reporting tonight to the point where he was actually fired, and there were so many issues that he was actually fired as a TA, that's brand new.
So, Bryan, I'm just looking over this timeline again, and it's pretty astounding because he only started as a TA at the end of August. But the problem started right away on September 23rd. Look at this timeline. There are just mere, sometimes, days and short weeks in between each issue. But the very first thing started within a month, a fight with his professor. And then letters saying, you've got to be, up on your professional behavior. You're not meeting the expectations. We need an improvement plan. We got to meet about the improvement plan. And another fight, like 2 fights with the professor, all in the course of a couple of months. All the while hearing, like not in this timeline, but hearing these reports of being sexist and rude to women and being troublesome in the grading department. So what's curious is if Kohberger's program was tied to his teaching job. And not only that, he had an on-campus office and he had an on-campus apartment. And it's possible that those things were tied to his teaching job as well. So is it possible, Bryan, that his whole life was about to collapse because he was being, he was fired, but he knew that was coming, or at least he should have known it might have been coming. And he might have lost his program and his accommodations on campus.
It's a very big possibility. Let's go back and think to the fact that his dad came out to drive with him back to Pennsylvania. A lot of people questioned that. Why would the dad fly all the way over there to drive the car all the way back just for a Christmas break? Why wouldn't he just fly back? Would it even maybe be cheaper? Was there more going on behind the scenes now that we know all of this?
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find.
Okay, yeah, so that was just a couple articles about, I almost said Bryan Eaton, Bryan Kohberger and him losing his job. I don't know if he had an accomplice. I don't think he did. I think he did this on his own. I think that if there was more than one person, they wouldn't have got away with it as long as they did. More than one person is clumsy. You get clumsy, I feel like, after, you know what I mean? If you're trying to deal with another person committing a crime with you, you got to make sure they're on your level to commit that crime. In my mind, if not, they're slacking, they're behind you, and then that means, you know what I mean? Like, that means that you got to like pick up their slack, and then you're like, I don't know. I think he was alone. Personally, I think he did this on his own. I do have a video. I was going to show you guys. I have more videos to show you here, but I was going to show you. I'll still show it, but maybe not today. Maybe we'll do it tonight or tomorrow. But it's a Nancy Grace video, because you know how I love Nancy. She came out with like a 30-minute video about the floor plan of the home, and if the murder suspect, Bryan Kohberger, maybe studied the floor plan beforehand. So I think I'm going to play that for you guys either tomorrow, or maybe I'll come back on tonight. And then we'll play that. Let's see. Where was I at? Oh, we're back here. Okay, I'm like, wait. I was like, how did we get so far ahead? But we didn't. Also, while we have Teresa in here, because I know she's probably watching it, is there anything going on that we need to know about in the Alex Murdaugh case? I'm going to ask Teresa, because she's always watching the case, and I'm not watching it right now. Anything going on that we need to know about? We are covering a couple different cases on this channel. So if you guys are new to the channel, hello, hi, welcome. I have so much content for you guys to watch if you like to watch true crime. And then I do have other content on my channel as well, because I used to be a trauma channel. So if you have any trauma injuries, mental illnesses, anything of that nature, I've probably covered it on my channel before. And I saw you guys in the chat earlier, you were talking about yoga, morning yoga, or just doing yoga, getting your Zen back. Look up 5-minute bed yoga on YouTube. Promise you, it'll change your life forever. It's so nice. It's very, I don't know. It's not hard to do. You do it in bed, and it's just very nice. And I actually did videos on it on my YouTube. I have videos of me doing the 5-minute bed yoga to show you guys. So you could just do it with me if you want to. The last one I did, I was in California, and that was in September. So that's right when my channel started growing, right before my channel started growing. So that one would be kind of cute to watch if I was you guys. I'm gonna have to check out my old videos, because they're probably cute. They're probably fun. Just because, you know, I didn't edit or anything like that back in the day. I still don't really edit my videos now, but my pre-recordeds I can, but I usually don't. Yes, Danielle, I cover it all. I really do. I try to cover a lot. I used to cover a lot on my channel, I used to cover just trauma, but then I went to true crime. Now I'm doing both. I'm just going to go ahead and just do both, because I love both, and they're both me. So, I feel like it would be good to bring a little of myself to the channel. I actually did a review the other day, and I forgot to post it. I might post that for you guys today. Okay, so I'm going to kind of play you this one here. I think we actually... I'm trying to see. Where were we at? Right here.
Dr. Scott Bond. He's a criminologist, a professor. He's the author of the best-selling book, Why We Love...
And then, so this guy right here is going to be, just to let you know before we get started, this is Scott Bond. He's an author and serial killer expert. He weighs in on what he believes could have led, suspect Bryan Kohberger to murder these 4 beautiful souls. So.
Of serial killers, the curious appeal of the world's most savage murderers. Dr. Bond, you probably just heard the breaking news that we just reported on all of these conflagrations that Bryan Kohberger seemed to have been having with his professors, with his students, and with other people among the staff, to the point where he was cut loose. He was fired from Washington State University from his teaching job. I just wanted to get your initial reactions to sort of that behavioral profile as you look at then now what he's accused of.
Oh, absolutely. And first of all, thank you for having me on this evening. And I wanted to say, I was thinking about this myself. I was a TA. When I was getting my PhD at the University of Miami, I was a TA, and that TA position was tied to my funding, my assistantship that paid for my entire education. So that is not something you want to lose. You do not want to risk losing something like that. And the fact that it escalated so quickly and that he was terminated in his first semester there would suggest to me that his behavior really was egregious, that it was something that had become a big problem for the department and the university. And I wanted to just give that as a little bit of background. But to the extent that that this letter, which I don't believe the letter has been completely authenticated yet, but if it is in fact true and the timeline is true, then this is something that could have absolutely contributed to him reaching a tipping point in his rage and anger and leading him to strike out in this terrible murder situation.
Yeah, we don't have our hands on the letter yet, but we've had the essence of it authenticated by a source close to the investigation. And that's the next best thing without actually getting your hands on a copy of the termination letter. And obviously, you know, when it comes to those kinds of, you know, staff and policy, you know, obviously administrative staff policies, employment records are pretty private. It's hard to get your hands on those things. But I'm curious about, yeah, you know, I was so curious when you said that for you, the teaching assistant job was tied to the actual program. And I'm guessing that that's not a far stretch to suggest the accommodations that were on campus as well might have been part of that too. So there could have been a lot of stress. What I can't understand is the utter bravado that it would take if all of that was on the line and you're getting warning after warning and a helping hand to try to work through your problems. What kind of personality do you think this is that would literally thumb his nose at the authority that hold his future in their hands?
Great question. And you know, this crime that he committed is actually a mass murder. But I've been saying for some time now that the more that we learn about him, his development and his progression seems more similar to a serial killer. And I've studied serial killers extensively for some time. And so this didn't just happen, Ashley. I think that he was evolving a period of time and he reached a tipping point where he simply couldn't take it anymore. And he had to act out on his fantasy of killing. And so something like this, where the rug had been pulled out from under him, his funding, his home, as you said, which I do believe was probably tied to his assistantship and his TA position, it could have just pushed him over.
I don't know if his apartment was tied to his job. And if it was, do you think he would not be able, well, do you think his parents wouldn't be able to afford maybe to pay for his apartment? Because we've looked inside of his, not his particular apartment, but we did do a tour of those apartments a couple times on a live. Like, it's been a while, but I'm just wondering. I'm wondering who like came forward with the info. But people are going to talk. I mean, they're going to find a way to talk. I think even people like that are under the gag order are going to find a way to talk. If it's like confidentially, like trying to slip information out there, I feel like people can't keep their mouth shut on this case. It's just too hard. Oh, okay, so the university gave him a scholarship grant. So if he lost his job, would he lose his scholarship? Now that's what I'm wondering. Because then that could be a whole new thing. I mean, that's a whole new mental state. That's a whole new, you know, and I'm not trying to, and I'm not saying, and I'm not taking up for him, but I'm just saying that that's given me anxiety thinking about it. And I ain't even him. But if you think about it, if you lose your job, you lose your scholarship, you lose your apartment, you're going back home to live with mom and pop. So that wouldn't be fun. That wouldn't be a good time.
To the edge, to the point that he had to act out. And
then to see, you know, these college kids, like they're making it, they're making good grades, they're on the dean's list, they're buying new vehicles, they're going, I mean, I don't know if he knew all this stuff. If he was, looking at their social media, he would, but they're going to Europe, Kaylee had that vacation plan in Europe. They're going places, they're doing things. He obviously was going backwards in life. He was not going forward. If he was off of the drugs and he still wasn't going forward in life, that could really piss someone off too. Like, hey, I did all this stuff to get here. I got off drugs. I've been getting good grades. I'm in a PhD program. Why am I being, treated like this? I don't know. But he did do this himself. I mean, obviously he lost the job because he was, being biased towards, women.
And because the escalation was already there. As you said, he was in trouble by September, by October. The murders took place in November, but he already knew that he was in deep trouble by then.
Well, he still has the presumption of innocence, and these are allegations against him until they're proven in a court of law. So at this point, he is an accused quadruple murderer. I'm still just so astounded by the sexism and the allegations that he was grading the women differently than the men. And that to me would be a big, red flag for those teachers, or should have been. And perhaps they did catch it very quickly as they started right in September. Can't thank you enough. So just so enlightening. Dr. Bond, thank you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a good evening.
I wonder if the teachers actually really did in fact catch it, or if he was putting the grades in the system himself. I'm wondering if, as a TA, if he was grading the papers and then putting the information into the computer himself, like doing all of it, or if he was grading papers or giving his feedback and then he was giving it to the professor, and then the professor would put, put the final grade into the system to where she or he would see, like, hey, what's going on? Why do all the women have lower grades than the men? So that's just a question I have. So recap, she just came in, baby girl just came in. Okay, so if you guys are just now joining us, we are talking about the Idaho 4. We did go over in the beginning, I did a video last night on a family member of Ethan Chapin, supposedly came forward. She was verified on Reddit. I should have maybe did my homework a little better, because I feel like it's not confirmed, but I think that Ethan only has his triplets, like his two siblings that were his triplets, Hunter and Maisie. So in order for Ethan to have a sister-in-law, one of his siblings would have had to have been married. But I can't find anything on a sibling. We've heard of a step-sibling, but I can't still find anything on it. So we went over that. Also, the authorities in Pennsylvania are looking into unsolved cases and cold cases to see if there's any connection of Bryan Kohberger back home. So we're thinking maybe he could have committed crimes before now. News Nation did a new video with a psychotherapist. Also, they came out and asked, why women fall for accused killers. Banfield went over that. Ashley and Bryan Eaton also went over how Bryan was fired from his teaching job before the murders occurred. And they say that he was like rude, sexist, pretty much just an overall pig, if you want to say it like that. So, so that's where we're at now. She went over a timeline of when he got fired, how he was put on like reprimanded. He was, put on like, I don't know what you would call it, but he got reprimanded. And then he ended up getting fired from his job. So then we went over Scott Bond. He was an author and a serial killer expert, and he weighed on what he thought, what led suspect Bryan Kohberger to kill them. And then this is the last one here. One of the last ones I want to show you. Now this one, it's kind of funny to me. I mean, it's not funny, but it is funny to me. Ashley Banfield, I feel like she like kind of smiles in this too. See, baby girl, I don't know. I'm trying to find out if he does have any siblings. Because like when they did the interview, they did an interview. Ethan's parents did. We watched it the other day because we did all of the interviews for Maddie and for Ethan. And on one of the interviews, the Ethan's mom looks over and says, "Maisie, Hunter, do you have anything else that you want to add?" So she didn't say. I mean, I guess if it was an older sibling, they wouldn't have been there for the interview. Maybe I didn't think about it like that. See, that's why I love talking things out with you guys. I love that. That's what, like, it helps me. It helps me really. It really does. I have so many questions to ask you guys too. I'm gonna have to like do an extra live on that. So if you're just now joining us, I did just go over everything that we've been going over. The last thing here I want to show you. Well, I'll show you one more thing after this too. But the last, Banfield or News Nation thing I want to show you.
And then a whole bunch of other people.
Is this right here? It's Bryan Kohberger is receiving threatening letters in jail. And when you watch this, I swear Ashley Banfield is smiling in this, like with her eyes or something. Oh, okay. I was going to read it, but I didn't have time, Michelle, before we got on the live. So there were half siblings. Thank you. Okay, because my comment section is lit up like the 4th of July with people like coming for me. Literally, they're coming for me in my comment section right now. There was like 90 some comments when I looked last. Let's see. I'm going to look real quick for you guys. And they were all like, he has no siblings. You should have did your homework. You don't know what you're talking about. So it was a lot. I think it was this video. I was going to see if I could see how many people commented. But I'm on my phone, so I don't know if I can. But yeah, I'll have to look it up some other way. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. Eric Chapin is his name. Thank you, Teresa. They're coming for me because I did, so Daily Mail came out with an article and it said and it was verified through Reddit, and it was these posts about, Ethan Chapin questioning why roommate Dylan Mortensen didn't call the cops after hearing crying and screaming. It was just an article that I had seen, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's an interesting article. I want to make a video about it. It was my first pre-recorded video I've done in a while, and I was like, oh my Lord. So yeah, my comment section was lit up like a Christmas tree. I was like, oh my gosh, guys. I couldn't even go through all the comments. I've never been like that. It's where I'm like, okay, I'm scrolling and I'm like, I'm done. So thank you. See, I should have did that before I came on, but I didn't look at his obituary. I saw a place where it said like, look at his obituary, but I just saw Maisie and Hunter on there. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong. So I'm glad I brought this to you guys. Yeah, Mystic, they were coming for me. They're like, so I usually just will go to the gym and read the comments there. They help me out. No, they're never like, no one's ever been really mean, but they're just like, I mean, you could always be meaner than you don't know what you're talking about. So that's why I wanted to come on and correct it if it was wrong. So I'm glad you guys helped me out. Y'all are awesome. Okay, so Kohberger is receiving threatening letters in jail. So we're going to watch this one here. It's only a minute and a half.
And then a whole bunch of other people who are more like ticking time bombs and would like to see him blown up. Because as it turns out, there are multiple letters coming in to the Moscow jail, and they are threatening the life of Bryan Kohberger. And they are not treated like the love letters. Slightly different. For that, I turn to the guy I know who knows everything about prisons and jails, and that's Larry Levine. He's the director and the founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants. And also with me tonight, Dr. Michael Aaron. He is a psychotherapist and a certified sex therapist specializing in fetishes. I think he might be able to get me off the ledge on this one. First to you, Larry Levine. When a threatening letter comes in, ultimately saying that they want to see this guy dismembered or whatever it is they're threatening, what's the protocol? Does he get to see these letters?
No, they're not going to do that. And they're going to refer it over to the postal inspector, and they'll launch an investigation.
I'm going to get some sunglasses, I think, like that.
And try to track the letters back. But this is nothing new. Look at Jodi Arias, the Menden brothers, Scott Peterson. Charles Manson. They all received letters. I mean, Charles Manson married somebody who was writing letters to them. It's these women that I spoke to Jacqueline Pavillari, my colleague, who's a psychologist, and she said that these women are insecure and they lack self-esteem, and that they find that the men, they're not available, but they are. They know that they're not cheating on them.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
I wish I would have been able to get that whole episode for you. Like the whole complete episode, but I got all the clips that I could have from that episode. He does kind of look like Pitbull, this finger. Yeah, I'm wondering, it's like everybody's like, everybody's got cool sunglasses but me. Oh, I thought someone was like saying something, but I'm reading the comments here. The guests are interesting. Tia said that they're very interesting on News Nation nowadays. I don't know what's going on with News Nation, but I love them with titanium lenses. That's what I need. I do need to get some glasses though, guys, since I've been in front of the computer lately. Woo, it's been bad. And normally I always have my camera on, but today I didn't even do anything with myself, so I just left it off, guys, because we had something's going on with our water heater again. We fixed it, got a new one. Now it's messing up. So, Kelly D, earlier, the Murdaugh trial. So, what's going on with the Murdaugh trial? Teresa said that they were bringing in like more evidence that he was going down kind of. They were talking about his financials. Yeah, no, you're right. Kelly D. She said, I hate having to say the words, but some just don't get it. You could be the smallest person in the world with knife skills, could take out a giant. Yeah. Because I always was like, how did he get through Ethan? But if the dude was sexist, known to be, then as soon as he saw Ethan, he probably regained all strength and all everything he had and all will. But I'm still really wondering about the order that they were murdered in. Oh, wow. Uh-oh. Teresa said the Murdaugh trial stopped. The court stopped and there was an emergency evacuation of the courthouse. Wonder what's happening. Oh my gosh. Maybe I need to go over there and we need to look. Well, that's crazy. I know if I do that, I'll be on here for the rest of the day with you guys, though. We'll all be watching Murdaugh trial. Oh, yeah, I did look up the obituary. I looked it up. Thank you guys so much. I know that I should have done that beforehand. Oh, see, but this is why I didn't, so I'm not going to read it right now because I'm going to cry. That's why I didn't read it. It just like, it first starts out with, okay, Maisie arrived shortly. Okay. Ethan A. Triplet was born first. Oh, I was right. I thought he was the first. Oh, here, I'll share this. I thought he was the first because he looked like he was the biggest out of all three of them. And I didn't really mean that like, because I didn't think because he was the first, he was bigger, but I kind of did, you know. And it just says, you know, he was born first at 4:43 p.m. on a beautiful Tuesday evening in October. He was born at Swedish Hospital in Seattle. Maisie arrived shortly after at 4:44 and Hunter at 4:45. Our family spent the first year and a half living in Olympia at Summit Lake, and then we moved to Conway. Aww. The kids attended Conway School, where they got a great education, also played soccer, basketball, and ran cross country. One of Ethan's greatest memories was on the basketball court with his brother at Conway wearing jersey number 30. Ethan is survived by his dad, Jim, his mom, Stacy, and surviving triplets, Maisie and Hunter. He is also survived by Stacy's mother, Darcy Wells, and Jim's father, Jim Chapin. Half siblings, Eric Chapin and wife, Sarah. So maybe, and David Chapin and Nicole. So there's two. And husbands, Jimmy, aunt and uncle, Stephen, Gina Wells, Curtis, Michael Chapin, and Todd and Renee. Aw. So we have a Mount Vernon in Ohio. That's crazy. Yeah, I wonder what's going on with the Alex Murdaugh thing. That's so crazy. I wanted to read this to you guys too before we went. So I can't remember who put this up. Oh, it's shared by her sister. I thought so. Okay, so this was shared by Zana's sister. I wanted to do something nice at the end of the, the end of the live and not have to be focusing on Bryan Kohberger the whole time. I always try to do something nice for the victims at the end if I can find something really cute. And I did. I found this little article, and I'll blow this up so it's a little bit bigger for you guys too, because it's really small, but it's on Reddit. And her sister posted this for her, or posted this about her. So let me see if I can. Oops. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Whoa. Too big. I think that's better. Okay. And then it says 10/18/2022, a short essay about an object of value to Zana. So this is something that Zana held really, near and dear to her heart. Oh yeah. So, you live near Mount Vernon. TF said the tulip fields are really nice, but other than that, not much there. Sort of industry area with farms. So that's where they're probably, doing Ethan's tulip. Ethan is getting his own tulip. They're breeding a white tulip for purity and and then a yellow tulip for the Vandals where he went to school. And they're going to, that's going to be Ethan's Smile, I believe the tulip's name of it's going to be. I just thought that was really nice that they did that. So this one says, growing up, I was a rambunctious kid, always running around with friends from the neighborhood. And this is supposed to be this is Zana's point of view. In the summertime, we lay on the burning hot pavement to cool ourselves from the pool. We played kickball in the streets without any shoes on, causing us to always have black feet. We sat on electrical boxes, not even knowing about the dangers of it. Personally, in my life, I have never cared much about material items because I was always running around, not giving them any thought. I was grateful for what I had, so every time I was fortunate enough to receive something new, I cherished it. Every year, my dad took my sister and me shopping to get new clothing for school, and in my freshman year of high school, I got a brand new pair of black Converse. I wore them almost every single day of school, except the occasional day I decided to dress up. Those shoes got me through every football game, ASB event, etc. Sorry. I felt comfortable in them. I even brought them to college with me. I designated them as my frat shoe freshman year at the University of Idaho. It was very comforting knowing I had something with me from the past version of myself, knowing that I was growing, but also still had the same person inside me that received the shoes in the first place. Last year, I noticed they were starting to fall apart, including the rubber and the soles coming apart. I started wearing them to work and realized it is time to retire the shoes that have got me through some of the most interesting and stressful times of my life. I am so grateful for all the years those Converse have got me through. Those shoes and I have both been through a lot, even though the shoes may look like they have been through a bit more. Where I live off campus, everyone throws an old pair of shoes on the telephone wire by their house when they move out. This signifies the time we spent in these off-campus houses, but for me, it will signify the past 8 years of my life. I will be throwing these shoes on the telephone wire next year when I graduate, and I already know it's going to be a liberating feeling. So I thought that was really sweet. So that's why the shoes were on the telephone pole. It's not for drugs, but it usually is for drugs. But I never thought that drugs were involved in this case. But usually that's why they throw shoes on telephone poles, is to mark their streets. But that's really sweet that they do that at the University of Idaho to kind of mark their, There's a bomb threat at the courthouse. Are you kidding? At the Murdaugh trial, who called that in? What? Let me see over here. Oh my lordy. You gotta be kidding. Every time. No, not every time, but when we're on a live, that's when stuff happens, I swear. Let's see. I'm trying to think who would have it on there. Law and crime.
Haven't been told they will learn it. That jurors learn these things, all right? Because the family members will.
Oh, it looks like they're just. Yeah, it looks like something's going on over there. That is insane. Let's see. We'll turn this on for a minute and see what's going on over
Be
here.
around. They'll be concerned.
Or things going on outside that could potentially, cause risk to their own families or to their decisions. And so certainly where they have been rapidly evacuated from the middle of the trial, you're right. They're going to find out what happened. The judge may even tell them himself so that there's not so many open-ended questions about what's going on, thinking that their sensitivities may be better served by letting them know what happened. But everything that occurs in a courtroom during a jury trial is going to cause the jury to have a raised eyebrow and a second view of what it is that they're involved in. And I'm certain that these events will do this with this jury.
So, Judge, as we are looking at these pictures that our photographer from the Law and Crime Network is taking outside the Colleton County Courthouse, which has been evacuated for a reported bomb threat, and the trial of Alec Murdaugh will be in recess until 2:30 p.m. Let me ask you this as a judge. Do you have to bring that jury in one by one and ask them whether this has any impact on them?
Certainly that would be an appropriate thing. That would be an appropriate thing, and I would not be surprised if the judge does that. Again, the sensitivities of the jurors always has to be kept in mind. And if there is any concern that this incident has caused any one of them, because any one of them can cause a decision to be rendered one way or the other or a mistrial. So if there's any concern that this evacuation and the potential bomb threat or the potential threat that they're under as a result of this trial has caused, then yes, I think it would be appropriate, not required, but certainly would be appropriate.
How about the witnesses, Judge? Talk to me two things. I'm going to give you an A and a comma. Witnesses who have not yet testified, or remember the defense is going to say, if I'm the defense, that Alec Murdaugh had a lot of enemies, and we talked about this prior to the bomb threat, and therefore there are a lot of suspects out there. Does this lead into that for them? Are they going to be able to use this in any way, or would you, as a judge, make a ruling that they can't?
No, I would, as a judge, I would certainly issue a ruling or a determination that it would not be appropriate for the jurors to remark, for the defense or the prosecution to remark in any way on this incident unless investigations reveal right now or in the very near future that someone associated with either the state or the defense or a potential witness was was involved in this. If that information comes out, then I'd say, yeah, you all have at it. But otherwise, it's speculative. And because of the innumerable possible sources of this call-in threat or however it came in, it would be unfair and irrational for the jurors to be able to hear testimony about what this may be related to and why they should take that in consideration for their decision.
And as telling the viewers again who may have just tuned in, the trial of Alec Murdaugh has been adjourned until 2:30 p.m. because there was a reported bomb threat at the Colleton County Courthouse. The courthouse is being evacuated, has been evacuated. We're waiting for our own Gigi McKelvey to get to a safe place as the law enforcement is going to investigate this to make sure no one will be harmed. Right now, it's just a reported bomb threat. We hope, obviously, that it's not a real bomb that has been placed. But Judge, if you are now sitting on this case, and I bring you back to this, we have a lot of people now impacted, whether they be witnesses, whether they be reporters, whether they be the participants, the prosecution, the defense in regard to this. And at this point, we still don't know if that's a real bomb threat or if it was somebody just trying to make a name for themselves. So you're sitting there, you're Judge Newman right now. What information do you want to make sure that...
What do you guys think? Who do you think sent in the bomb threat? I'm like, who did it? Yeah, I wonder, Teresa, the problem is everyone scrambled out. All the evidence sitting in that courtroom, hopefully sheriffs locked the courtroom securely. And I think that with him going, I think that hopefully they did too. And hopefully, I think with him going back to jail, he was staying like downstairs underneath. They may have removed him from there though. Oh, he was in that cage jail. The van pulled away. Okay, yeah, the van probably took him somewhere else. Probably took him back to the jail or somewhere. Buster did it. That's what Mystic said. This is insane. Something always happens on my live. Like something will happen. Like there's a bomb threat. Well, and we were just talking earlier about when Bryan Kohberger was arrested. We were doing a live. I know that I can't remember the creator's name. I wish I could remember because I would subscribe to their channel. But they did a video of everybody's reaction to Bryan Kohberger being arrested. And mine was like priceless because it was literally so shocking. And then there's some other things. Something happened. It was like with the Quentin Simon case whenever I was on live too. But I can't remember for sure. But I am going to jump off of here. This is going to be a shorter live for today. But if you guys do want to watch the Alex Murdaugh trial or the bomb threat, it is on Law and Crime right now. They're streaming it live. She's probably just going to be talking about the trial that's going on or the bomb threat that's going on. I don't think that we'll end up seeing a bomb explode or anything like that. I don't even think that there's going to be a bomb in there. I will keep my eye on this. If something happens and I'm totally wrong, I will jump back on. But I don't know. Yeah, Tanya starts live stream, the world goes crazy. I know, that's what I feel like. I'm like, can everyone just keep their crap together for a little while? Yeah, that was a great day when BK was arrested. I was like, what? Huh? Like, and I just sat here for like 5 minutes on the live without like talking to you guys. I was like, hold on, I got to process this thought. But I think that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that someone just called it in just to get a name for themselves. But let me know what you guys think. And if you're watching this on replay, let me know what you think if you're watching on replay. But I'm going to jump off of here. Vincent is sick, so he is home from work. I'm going to go take care of him a little bit. And hopefully I don't get sick. I'm going to wear a mask. Like, put some gloves on. I'm going to go sanitize the house. I don't ever get sick, knock on wood. I never do. So I'll be damned if I do now. I always get my shots. I always get my vaccinations or whatever. My mom told me 1 year to get the flu shot, and I've gotten it every year since because my mom was always right. And with the 1 year that I don't get the flu shot, your girl will probably be sick with the flu. I'll probably die of the flu or something. So I always do that. I always get my shots and stuff so I can stay healthier. Because I don't stay healthy anywhere else. Not by eating. But I'm going to jump off here. But I do have a couple things to tell you guys just at the end of the live if you guys want to stick around. I want to do a members only live on like a mental health live. I think that would be good. Also, I'm trying to get everyone to follow me over on Twitter. If you have a Twitter at TitaniumBuilt. It's on the bottom of the screen also. I'm scrolling across, I believe. Yep, it is. So I can do because you can do Twitter spaces over there if you have over 600 followers. And then that way we can go into it's like a room and you can just talk back and forth about the cases, or you can just sit in there and listen. And I think that'd be really cool. Also, follow me on TikTok at TitaniumBuilt for the latest and greatest. And if you guys want to shop at my boutique, I'll put my banner up for my store. I do have a small boutique. I don't have merchandise yet, but I do have a boutique, which is even better. I sell candles, home goods, clothing for every size, everything. I just do it all. Your girl's crazy. Your girl's insane. You have autoimmunity. I think I do too. I think they need to test me because I used to have low white blood cell count. So you might have been late to the stream. We went for about an hour and a half today, so we didn't go too long. But yep, I'm going to jump off of here. If I do hear anything crazy about the Alex Murdaugh trial, I'll let you know. But I will see you guys all in the next live. Have a great day, guys. Bye.